Okay, so let's begin. Good afternoon, friends, and welcome to the fourth Virtual Integrity Student Forum. My name is Yevnur Kuanush. I'm a fourth-year undergraduate student in computer science at Nazarbayev University.
And I'm Ayero Siyas, a third-year undergraduate student in World Languages, Literature and Culture. And today, together with Yenur, we will be your moderators, hosts, guides. Basically, we'll be with you throughout this whole forum.
So this forum is organized by the Integrity Project and Nazarbayev University Student Government, building upon the tradition of its previous events and activities. Today, we will delve into the world of both academic and non-academic integrity experiences during the informative session specifically, in which we will explore the integrity challenges that we face on a daily basis and exchange valuable insights regarding them and on how to transform these challenges into opportunities. This forum is divided into three sections. Each section discusses the potential benefits and drawbacks of AI, the role of integrity and ethics in education, and the principles and the responses of the policymakers in question. One of the key highlights of this forum is the central role of student voices. The perspectives and contributions of students have the potential to impact students in making positive changes and upholding integrity standards. And as a heads up, this session will be recorded and be made available on the Integrity Project YouTube channel. You can share your opinion and let us know about any technical difficulties that there may be in the chat. And if you have any questions, you can also use the form and the chat to ask them during the speaker sessions.
Yes, and now we're very pleased to have you with us here on this forum, and we have a few people that are well known in the walls of Nazarbayev University who will share a few words regarding this forum now. Our student government president of Nazarbayev University will kick off this forum, whom many students have come to love in his presidential year, going as far as even suggesting he keep his position for a second year. Please welcome Yerasil Kadirjanov.
Hello, everyone. Can everyone hear me? Yeah, great. So again, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us today in this wonderful Saturday day on the fourth Integrity Student Forum titled Education in an AI Era. The student government has always been the, let's say, strategic and informational partner for the Integrity Project. And this project, the history of this project, we started small with the local partners from the Astana city, with our Kazakhstan universities, and year by year we have been exploring more opportunities on how to expand our network, on how to expand the reach of our forum. And starting from last year, we have been, I would say, lucky to have our friends from Tsinghua University, from the Graduate Student Union, as well, both in the Asian University Alliance, and the communication and the spirit of partnership that we have established in this framework is truly amazing, I believe. And the Integrity Forum, which happens on a yearly basis, is the, let's say, a manifestation of the student voices on how students can impact the policy making, on how they can share experiences, on how our professionals in both universities, in Tsinghua University and in Nazarbayev University, and in other local Kazakhstani universities can be productive in sharing the experiences and the stories that unite us in the pursuit of more robust and, I would say, great legal frameworks or procedures, rules, and etc. Again, I would like to thank the people who organized this forum, our lovely speakers, the members of the student government, and of course our guests from the Tsinghua University. Many thanks, and I guess I will conclude my opening remarks. Thank you.
Thank you for your remarks, Yerasil. And our next speaker for this opening session is the highly respected Vice Provost for Academic Affairs in Nazarbayev University and the Ambassador of the Integrity Project. also known for her brightly colored scarf that she always wears. It's Miss Loretta O'Donnell.
Thank you very much, Yelna. Thank you. And thank you, Yerasil. And please allow me to extend a sincere thank you to Yevgenia Kim, who happens to be wearing a brightly coloured scarf today as well, because Yevgenia is the really important person behind this whole project. We would also, of course, like to welcome our very dear friends from Tsinghua University. As Yerasil said, what unites us is stronger than what divides us when we think about academic integrity, the challenges and opportunities in the modern world. And the focus of this seminar today, the 4th Annual Academic Integrity Forum, which is, as Yerasil said, really all about student voice and student ideas, is about turning challenges into opportunities. And if I may, I'm just going to tell a little story. It's very quick, it won't take too long, but I did not grow up in Kazakhstan. I grew up in Australia. I grew up near the beach in a city just north of Sydney. And as a girl growing up, one thing that was really important to me and to my family and all of our friends is going to the beach. And if you've been to an Australian beach or a beach anywhere, you know the big feature is watching the big waves roll in. And a lot of my friends did a lot of surfing and swimming at the beach. And if you understand the waves, you know that the waves can crash on you and you can drown, or you can design a way to ride the waves. And one of the guys who was a friend of a cousin, he decided to design a new kind of surfboard, and he became a world champion. His name is Mark Richards. He designed a surfboard that was really clever, that allowed him to ride the waves. It was 2 fins, not 1 fin. It was shorter, it was wider. So there was a lot of small design things that he did to help him ride the waves. And I think that's a metaphor. We are here facing a significant transformational change in education. And I think as people who have the great privilege of being involved in universities, either Nazarbayev or Tsinghua University or many other organizations represented today, we can design a surfboard to ride the waves of change, or we can choose to be overwhelmed by it. But I think we're here because we want to design a new way to understand change, to ride it, to benefit from it, and in our own way to become world champions of change. So I wish everybody good luck as we design new ways of thinking about academic integrity in the age of AI and designing a new way forward. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now, to finalize the opening ceremony, our next speaker is the first president of Nazarbayev University, Shigeo Katsu. He's known among students as the former president who has always stood by students by supporting their ideas and events, empowering student initiatives, and believing that they have the potential to shape the future of our university. Unfortunately, he's unable to attend this meeting live, but he has recorded a video for us, so let's watch it together. Yeah, the video will be shown in a minute.
While I've been away from. Dear participants of the 4th Virtual Integrity Student Forum, with today's theme on education in an AI era. I'm really delighted to be here with you, dear students, albeit in a virtual manner. It's been a while. I've been away from campus, as you know. I've been away for a number of reasons, chief among them for medical reasons, because I have to take care of my eyes. But in the meantime, I had opportunity to read and think, and like most of you, a lot of the reading centered around artificial intelligence. So today's theme is certainly very apt. How do we deal with artificial intelligence in education? But let me first thank and congratulate the organizers and sponsors of today's important forum, in particular the Integrity Project, guided by Evgenia, and the Nazarbayev University student government led by Yerasil. I really appreciate and am proud that the student government and all the student participants really embrace the thought of you all becoming the next generation's leaders. This is a mission of our university, and I'm really thrilled to see this mission being put actually to real work in a forum such as ours today. So thank you all. You know better than I do that AI raises a host of important and very protracted issues, from obviously academic integrity, research integrity issues, but also, real life copyright issues. Who owns AI products? Then data privacy. Then, of course, who has access to this advanced technology, and will it simply exacerbate inequalities in today's societies? What about disinformation that we so often encounter increasing more and more? And, of course, job implications. Now, and there are probably many others. And, governments, parliaments, lawyers, businesses, expert communities, educators, we all grapple with what the future of AI is and what would constitute appropriate regulatory frameworks. And there, of course, one has to balance between, on one side, protecting the public interest, nudging the technologies, underlying technologies towards, public goods, and on the other hand, also trying to make sure that the entrepreneurial and creative spirit that drives innovation, such as AI, is not going to be stifled. So, in a way, it's easier said than done. And the fact that we have seen this explosion of literature on AI, on all kinds of subtopics, only shows that, everybody is dealing and trying to find a way forward in the concerns that I raised above. Now, but it also means that I'm sort of wondering, I'm not really the right person to address you today. I've looked at the RICH program this afternoon, and I really want to thank all the presenters because you're going to really show us in depth the implication of AI. What I can do, maybe I thought, is to frame AI. I look at it from the angle that we all are very familiar. That is integrity, academic, professional, personal integrity. You always heard it from me and my colleagues when we talk about integrity, and graduate attributes. This is how we would like you to be known. And integrity has always been a very, very important, if not the top element of, our messages. And approaching it from the integrity angle obviously also puts you on very familiar ground to launch the discussions. Now, I recently stumbled upon a very sort of interesting article in a business publication, which featured, Warren Buffett, the fabled US investor, the Oracle of Omaha, as they call him. And he's had that to say, presumably, and I quote, but I hope it's true. I mean, it's not AI generated. And the quote says, somebody once said that in looking for people to hire, you look for three qualities: integrity, intelligence, and energy. And if you don't have the first, the other two will kill you. You think about it, it's true. If you hire somebody without integrity, you really want them to be dumb and lazy. So Mr. Buffett believes that without integrity, intelligence and energy can be outright dangerous. Now, we all know, dear students, that in your studies, you need, of course, intelligence, skills, cognitive abilities, and so today for your studies, tomorrow for your work. And we should never underestimate the importance of energy and spirit to sustain motivation and get things done. But you, as emerging leaders who will be asked to build and lead institutions, this is where actually integrity does come to the fore. You may ask why. I know you know, but just as a reminder what experts would maybe say, and they point to at least four reasons. Who will kill you. You think about it, it's true. If you hire somebody without integrity, you really want them to be dumb and lazy. So Mr. Buffett believes that without integrity, intelligence and energy can be outright dangerous. Now, we all know, dear students, that in your studies, you need, of course, intelligence, skills, cognitive abilities, and so today for your studies, tomorrow for your work. And we should never underestimate the importance of energy and spirit to sustain motivation and get things done. But you, as emerging leaders who will be asked to build and lead institutions, this is where actually integrity does come to the fore. You may ask why. I know you know, but just as a reminder what experts would maybe say, and they point to at least four reasons. First is any successful organization, any successful endeavor has to be built on trust. One has to build a culture of trust based on integrity, openness, transparency, and honesty. And it is this trust, culture of trust, that then propels and creates positive vibes, team dynamics, positive team dynamics, where people feel that they can invest of themselves in the group and for the benefit of the group, for better coherence, better actually results. And also this collective and individual commitment, and this is now the third point, will help to allow decision makers to come up with better, and I would call also more ethical decision making, which will bring everybody and group them around the goals, the mission of the organization. And some would say it also represents good risk management. And the fourth is that this building trust and with integrity aligns individuals with the goals of the organization. So here you have it. I mean, it's some food for thought, but I think it's very important that we look at it this way, and it starts by you asking yourself sometimes tough, inconvenient questions such as, well, have you been exposed to situations where you were ethically challenged, be it in your study, work, or in your personal life, especially with AI temptations around? Or what for you does constitute an ethical student and study environment? And what do you say, is there a gap between what you would consider an ethical university and a student's own individual pursuit of integrity? And there are many other questions, obviously, but I hope that today's discussions will stimulate these types of questions and that they will be sustained. It's not just, the conversation should not just end today. As Loretta, and I'm sure she's here, would say, it's a long journey. Indeed, it is a long, maybe lifelong journey, and very intense. But I do hope that today will be really a sort of an entrance point to these future discussions, future endeavors. And here I would like to express my thanks to all the presenters, because you model integrity and you put a human face on these oftentimes very complex, abstract concepts. So let me just conclude by wishing you a great day of conversation, new insights, and above all, happy learning. I hope to see you soon. Bye for now.
Thank you very much to Shigeo Katsu, and I'd like to once again extend a thank you to our previous two speakers for the opening ceremony. And as Shigeo has stated, this Integrity Forum is going to discuss the future capabilities, and we will be addressing this issue. And as such, it's time to begin the first section for the day. It is AI in education, ethics, and university policies related to it. First of all, this forum was made possible thanks to the help from the Tsinghua University staff, who have been partners with us since last year. And as a side note, we'd like to know that we have a live transcription available for this meeting. You can access it by tapping the 3 dots there, and then you'll see the text turn on live captions, and you can look at the live captions just in case some words or some phrases are illegible to you. Moving back, our first speaker for today is going to be from our partners, Tsinghua University, and she's a professor and general director of the Center for Innovation in Learning and Teaching at Nazarbayev University, Dr. Elaine Sharplin. She will be discussing the policies at NU regarding artificial intelligence and the ethics of its usage in research. Please welcome.
Thank you, Yilna, for that welcome, and thank you for the invitation to be here. Let me just try and share my presentation. I'm hoping you can see that.
Yeah, we can.
Thank you. So let me get started. What I thought I wanted to do today is talk about what we've started doing at NU in terms of a response to artificial intelligence. And it's simply a foundation. We have lots more work to do, and I know that the speakers today are going to build on the areas that we really need to tackle. So just I want to get by actually trying to get some responses here. So I want you to look at this image in front of you. First of all, I want you to identify what is the image that you are seeing here. Where does it come from? And probably not too hard a question, what is the problem? I'm wondering if anyone is able to perhaps share a response with me about that, or add something to the chat, and perhaps Yevgenia, you can monitor that for me. So no responses. We're quiet and passive today.
Well,
Not yet, Elaine.
Yeah, Elaine.
Oh, okay. Please.
It looks as though it's a research publication, but potentially written by AI or something like that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Tim. So yes, you can see from the presentation of the image, this is actually a publication in a highly respected publisher's journal. It's a journal by Elsevier. It's a journal that is ranked in the top 30% of journals in the field of materials engineering. So it's a highly respected journal by a highly respected publisher, and this is the actual publication of this paper. So what's the problem? Yeah, Tim's identified that somehow in this published version of this article, there is that first line highlighted in yellow, which appears to be very directly an AI-generated prompt. Certainly, here is a possible introduction for your topic. And in this publication, it was not indicated anywhere that this was written by AI. So the issue that this raises for me is the question of, what does authorship really mean in 2024? And what does intellectual property mean in 2024? And just this last week, we had a workshop at the Centre for Innovation in Learning and Teaching. And one of the images that was presented is some work by Rutkowski, and then an AI-generated version of that same image. And again, what it raises is this question of what does it mean to be an author? Is author about the content of the words? Is author about the style of the presentation? Does it matter whether we acknowledge something which is stylistically shaped on somebody else's work as well as the content? And so I raise that just as I think one of the critical questions that we need to consider when we're talking about AI. It goes back to the heart of what authorship means, and by authorship I mean production of any materials, whether they're text or visual or musical, and who has that intellectual property? Why is intellectual property so important? So I'm just going to run quickly through what we did at NU. We started back in January last year with a working group that discussed how do faculty understand what AI is. And last January, it was an absolutely new concept to most academics. We did a staff-student survey to try and understand where people were located in their thinking. From that, we developed a discussion paper that was used in our governance structures, our committees, and finally, we generated a document that we call the NU Response to Generative AI. And what you can see on the slide here are those findings that we put in our initial discussion paper. The important thing was that there was a willingness to go ahead and to look at the development of AI. And the most interesting point for me, especially from the staff student survey, was that there was very similar positions by both staff and students. Both staff and students indicated that at that stage, and say 12 months is a long time in AI terms, people weren't very familiar with AI, and they were very concerned in particular about minimizing any inequities that were involved with its use. So we developed 5 principles that really underlie what we believe is the appropriate use of AI at NU. So in the first case, we are willing to explore the responsible employment of AI. Some universities have taken a position to completely ban its use, and we believe that that's actually not a progressive position. It's probably not a sustainable position, and it doesn't serve the best needs of our students. So we want to support the development of constructive uses of AI, and we want to do that whilst upholding a rigorous approach to academic integrity. And we believe that what we need to do is facilitate many more opportunities for learning about AI. So what we did as the cornerstone of this document was an emphasis on developing acceptable generative AI usage statements. Students were saying, we don't know what's allowed, we don't understand what we can or we can't do. And so this is the guidance that we gave, that it was up to schools to develop an acceptable AI usage statement. This recognises that teaching and learning varies enormously from subject to subject, discipline to discipline. But at the heart of it, it means that we have equity so that within any one course, there is one position and all students taking a particular course will be treated fairly, consistently, and equitably. The other thing that we investigated was our existing student code of conduct, and we believe that the statement that we already have about integrity and plagiarism upholds the same with AI, with the addition simply of referring instead of just to a person, but also to AI. So the bottom line is undeclared AI use by a person or through a tool is not acceptable. So I just want to put up quickly, because I know I've got a very limited time here, two statements for you to look at. Here is one sample AI acceptable usage statement. And you'll note here that in this particular course, the instructors have said that AI is to be embraced. It's to be used in an unrestricted fashion. There won't be penalties for usage of it. But again, the emphasis is on acknowledgement of the use of the AI by citing AI sources and declaring the way in which AI has been used. And a very different response in a very different subject, AI use is completely discouraged unless directly instructed to use it by the instructor, and that it's very clear that getting any help in assignments using tools which generate text, artwork, graphics, video, etc. is not allowed. So a very different position. But the important thing is that these pieces of information must be included in all courses on Moodle websites so that students are very clear about what is or is not acceptable. So one of the things which is really important around the use of AI is a correct citation, declaration and acknowledgement. And the NU Library is a fantastic source of information about how to go ahead and do this. There are different requirements for citation according to citation style. So what you're required to include in APA referencing is different to what you might include in Chicago style. So I would strongly recommend you make use of library services and get some assistance from them on the acknowledgement process. But I've included here an example which goes beyond citation and goes to declaration. And this is taken from our statement, and it also includes use of documents that we accessed from, in this case, chatopenai.com. So this shows what sort of information we would encourage students to put in a declaration if they have been using AI. So I want to pick up here on the point that actually Shigeo raised here. And I think our discussion of AI needs to be framed in this context of what really are the goals of higher education. How can we see using AI as part of those goals, but not as an alternative to those goals? So we see here in the NU graduates, yes, we want people to have sophisticated understandings of their domains of study. You need to know your field, you need to know the processes, the cognitive skills that are required, and this shouldn't be replaced by AI generation. You need to be thoughtful decision makers, and that includes thoughtfully deciding how you're going to use AI. You need to be effective communicators, and that includes being able to write and speak for yourself. And of course, we want you to be people of high personal integrity. So the challenges for using AI, I think, are encapsulated in some of these questions that I really want to leave for you to think about. So when you are in the process of producing text or producing images, I want you to think about who owns the content and who owns the form of the ideas that are being presented. I want you to think about whether due credit and acknowledgement has been given to all of the sources used in production. And I also want you to think about how equitable access to AI is. So simply by using AI, which groups in society are being advantaged or disadvantaged? Does generative AI treat all groups equitably in the production of materials? Or do you see particular stereotypes coming through AI-generated text and images? How are non-native English speakers disadvantaged, perhaps by being accused falsely of using AI when it is in fact their own work? And finally, how are minority groups represented in AI-generated materials? So hopefully these are some of the questions that will be raised again during today's presentation. In closing, I want to go back to, again, the words of Shigeo. Being ethical is not necessarily an easy path to take. It requires strong commitment to concepts of truth and merit. And I think it's important that all of our actions in our production of our academic work reflects that personal approach to integrity. And so on that note, I will conclude my presentation. Thank you.
Many thanks to Elaine Sharplin for touching upon such an interesting topic, especially for us students. And now our next speaker is the Vice Dean of the Institute for AI International Governance and Deputy Director of the Center for International Security and Strategy at Tsinghua University. Please welcome Xiao Qian. The stage is yours.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello. Good afternoon. Here in China, in Beijing. Thank you, Chair, for having me in this. Some echoing. Sorry, some sound problem. We will sort out here.
Actually, we can hear and see everything. We think it's okay.
Yeah, it's much better now. Okay. My presentation today is about the international governance of AI and also what they do in Tsinghua. Actually, I was invited to speak on AI in education, but regretfully, I'm not a kind of expert in this. Actually, in my institute, we are mainly dealing with the governance issue of AI. Before we talk about AI governance or AI in education, we should first of all get to know the risks of AI and what is the governance of AI and what is the landscape now in the world about this AI governance. So my presentation will mainly about 5 subjects. First is the evolution and application of AI. And I'm sure most of the students here, since you are already graduate students, so you may know much better than me. But however, I still want to touch upon some of the points of this issue. And then the AI risks and the safety. Third is the global wave of AI governance, which is really a very important phenomenon right now. Fourth is the AI governance in China. And lastly is what we do in Tsinghua. First, the evolution and application of AI. So as we all know that AI, this technology developed really quickly, but however, it really started since 1956 and it experienced 3 up and downs here. So from 1956, and then it was not until 2000 that it is really undergoing a rapid growth. And the fastest growth is within the past 5 to 10 years. So these are the landmark development for AI technology. And I'm sure that most of you have experienced a few of the important news in this AI era, especially when ChatGPT comes into being. I'm sure that everyone was just got shocked. It just couldn't imagine how this powerful technology can change our life. So what can AI do? Well, most of you must be very familiar with computer vision, the voice recognition, and also the natural language processing, mechanical applications supported by AI, and data analysis supported by AI. Also, the content generation and reinforcement learning are also very 2 important applications of AI right now. So my question for you is just to try to name up a few AI applications in your lives. So just for students here in this room who can tell me what are the most used AI applications in your life. Am I supposed any answers here? Here or online, maybe. Most used AI applications in your life? That is not a very difficult question, right? Sorry.
I've been using it commonly for assignments to help with creating topics.
Yeah, so any answers here?
Not only assignments and academic things, but also in our personal lives to get some ideas, what to buy, what kind of presents is a good thing for 8th March, for example. Yeah.
Yes, shopping in daily life, right? It can help you make decisions, make smarter decisions. I can do something. Any else? Anything else? Wow, hi. Just everything. Come on, everything in your life. We use the AI applications almost every day, right? Just name some examples. AI in healthcare. We do medical diagnosis, intelligent health, and also drug development. It is a really a major development because the OpenAI developed the AlphaFold, which can help to develop more drugs and also surgical robot. I'm not sure whether you are really confident in the surgical robot when you are lying on the surgical bed and waiting for someone to do the surgery for you. But anyway, this is the development. And then we have AI in transportation, right? The autonomous driving the traffic controlling is more often used in our daily life in transportation. And also smart. And I'm sure many of you have this intelligent home control system right now here in Beijing, very popular. And also AI in finance, the risk management in many banking system, and also the customer service that can help you to give more the better analysis of the financial situation of the customers. And also AI in manufacturing or in industry. We use AI for quality control, for supply chain management, for cost reduction. And also AI in innovation, right? We use AI to translate, to paint, to music, to compose music, and even to write poems. They are the very famous scientist here in Tsinghua, Professor Sun Maosong, and he has invented an AI translation system which can translate, not a translation, but to write poems, the Chinese poems. I don't know whether it was named as 九歌 or something. It's a very interesting a tool which you can use this tool to write very ancient and very good Chinese poems. And AI in education, we use education. Just now the professor from mentioned about many of the applications in AI in education, in teaching, in learning, in evaluation, and also in administration. We use AI as a technology in our education. So it is almost penetrating in all parts of our lives. So it also has a lot of risks and safety. So the ChatGPT, it generates artificial intelligence content, and also it promoted AI model. It will increase the AI risks as well. So what are the risks related to AI? Here are some of the risks related to this, and I'm sure some of you, most of you have experienced a certain part of the risks. Maybe you are just not just getting used to the risks, and you are not that sensitive to them. For example, the economic disruption, because when the ChatGPT comes out, when we do not use a translator or interpreters anymore, this part of these people are just losing their job. And also the ethical and the moral concerns. Just now we mentioned about when you quote some thesis online or use ChatGPT to write something, then it also has the quotation situation, which is related to the ethical and moral concerns, and also privacy issues. Whenever you go, you use your if you record your face images, then it may use in some other areas which you may not be aware of. But also the bias and discrimination. For example, in many part of the area which is not developed, they may not have very
I'm sorry, you're a bit, your microphone is a bit going in and out. We can't hear you at times.
Sorry?
Oh, now we can hear you clearly. You're just breaking up, yeah.
I know, because of the some of the sound problem here. If I speak in the mic, then I can hear my voice echoing here in the room. So that's why they recommend me suggest me not using the mic. Okay, is it okay now? Sorry for the tech problem. Yeah, and then also the autonomy and control, the social and the cultural impact. Global governance is one of the important issues I will talk about later, and also long-term existential risks. How many of you believe that AI will bring us the existential risks to human being? How many of you believe in this? Please raise your hand. Existential risks. Okay, I can only see one raising hand here. Any more? Oh, sorry, I can't see on the screen. Existential risks. So we have seen many movies, especially from the United States, that the robot, the super AI can one day
have their own mind, and then they try to terminate people, and they try to destroy people, human beings, and to take control of this world. So many of us think it is only a kind of a movie, right? It's not true. But now more and more scientists feel that it may come true one day. So the long-term existential risks, and just a few days before, I attended a few seminars on AI risks, and many pronounced or very prominent AI scientists feel that it is not that far away. Might be 10 or 20 years later, we will face these risks, really very serious risk. So it is important to note that while risks are significant, many researchers and policymakers are working very hard to mitigate these risks and try to make sure that the AI is used in a responsible and a beneficial manner. And this is what also many of our researchers here in Tsinghua University doing. So if we put these risks into different categories, we might put them into technical, ethics, and socioeconomic, political, different categories. So we can see that the risks are related to almost every part of our lives, and it is really important to face them and try to mitigate them, try to reduce them. By some design of mechanisms, and try to reduce the risks by international cooperation, because no country can deal with these risks alone. Alan Turing, the father of AI, also mentioned very long time ago, he mentioned that it seems probable that once the machine thinking method has started, it would not take long to outstrip our feeble powers. At some stage, therefore, we should have to expect that the machines to take control. So the future is coming, and we need to be prepared for that. And just last year, we have seen an open letter co-signed by many the CEOs of some big companies, but also some top scientists calling on all AI labs to immediately pause for at least 6 months the training of AI systems more powerful than ChatGPT-4. And we can see that more than 33,708 people, not only ordinary people, but well-known people, scientists, and that top CEOs, they signed this open letter. But it was a little bit weird because last year the number was 33,711, and then yesterday I saw that it was 3 minors. I don't know who just withdrew their signature, so maybe they think we need to do something more. And also, we know that a very well-known British scientist, Professor Geoffrey Hinton, said that the kind of intelligence we are developing right now is very different from the intelligence we have. And he is also now very strongly articulated that we need to do something to prevent the accidental risks of AI. So how to address the risks and the challenges? And from our institute, the experts and the researchers also raised some of the suggestions. Professor Xue Lan, you may well, students here in Tsinghua know that he is a very well-known professor in the School of Public Administration, also the dean of the Schwarzman College. And he mentioned that he put forward 4 suggestions. The first 4 suggestions I just borrowed from him. First is the increased research on safety at technical and governance level, and it cannot be done within any single country. So we need a joint international research, and not only within the small amount of countries, not only the G7 countries or G20 countries, but the whole country, the whole world, the countries from different areas. The second is the government regulations. We need government regulations in different countries, and also the industry self-regulation. It is very important because we know that compared with nuclear and some other technologies in the past, AI is quite different because the power of AI now is controlled by many big companies like OpenAI. So the industry self-regulation is really very important. And also, we need international governance, just as I have mentioned. We need countries to work with each other to deal with this problem. It is a challenge faced by human beings, not faced by only one country. So we need some multilateral communication and a mechanism like IAEA in nuclear area. It is quite successful. And also, recently we saw that United Nations Advisory Board on AI was established, and it is very active, and we really hope that it can have some good suggestions that every country can follow. And also, my suggestion is that we need to, for the AI development, for this technology governance, we should make it free from geopolitical tension. That is, we should have, especially China and the US should have cooperation on AI governance, because these two countries are the two leading countries on AI. So not only development, but also on governance. So it is really important to the two countries to cooperate on this. And I'm very happy that just last year in the two leaders of these two countries met with each other and agreed that we should have government dialogue on AI. So this dialogue might commence early spring this year. So we are waiting for the positive result from this dialogue. And these are the suggestions. So now something about AI governance, if you are still interested in. First, the AI governance worldwide. So the Stanford University has an artificial intelligence index report each year since 2017. And last year's report mentioned that the number you can see from the map, that the number of AI-related bills passed into law by country from 2016 and 2022. And we can see that many parts of the world, the areas are covered by the color, which means that the countries really have AI-related bills passed into laws. So many countries really take this problem very seriously. It mentioned that in 127 countries, the bills passed by the legislative bodies contain the words artificial intelligence from 2016 to 2022. And then 31 since 2016, 31 have passed at least one related AI-related bill, and together they have passed a total of 123 AI-related bills. That is really a very remarkable progress. And then from 2016 to 2022, there has been a sharp increase in the total number of AI-related bills passed into law, with only one passed in 2016, climbing to 37 bills passed in 2022. So it is really a very remarkable progress in this regard. We have seen a global wave of AI governance in recent years. The world's major economies focused on discussing critical topics in AI governance. And we have seen the international intergovernmental organizations taking important positions, like we have G20 AI principles published in 2019. And then UNESCO also issued a recommendation on the ethics of AI, which is closely followed by many universities and educational institutes around the world. And also the World Health Organization issued the ethics and the governance of AI for health in 2021. But the governance structure is very fragmented, as we observe. For example, we have GPI, right? This is the organization with a lot of developed countries inside, which China is still not part of it. And also we have OECD, which is also part of the very developed countries, and they are talking a lot of things about how to develop, how to govern AI among these countries, while China is also not part of it. So as China is such a huge country with AI development and AI governance, it is really, I really don't think this mechanism without China in will be very successful in the future. So the governance structure now is just fragmented with only a few people, a few countries inside. So the challenges here, the first one is the pacing problem, which was also mentioned by Professor Xuela, which I feel it is really a very important observation. That is, technology system always move faster than the governance system. When the technology comes into being, then people begin to realize, wow, it's so powerful. We need to control it. We need to govern it. Then the government system try to follow. But however, the AI technology develops so quickly that the government system is just falling behind, is lagging behind. So there is a pacing problem in this issue. And the second is the challenges from asymmetrical cost problem. And we find that the investment in AI technology, in AI development, is far more than the investment in AI safety. So all the companies just trying to put a lot of money in developing this powerful technology to make sure that my technology or our technology is much advanced than the other companies, but they take no attention to safety. Then challenges from regime complex system, how to coordinate different regimes, different countries, different cultures. So that is a very difficult question. Like China is so different in political systems and in this legislative system from United States, from the Europe, from United Kingdom, how we coordinate with each other. And also the challenges from geopolitical problem. What I have mentioned is the US-China technological or technology rivalry. I just attended the Munich security conference just in February, and I noticed that AI safety or AI governance was very often mentioned in discussions on this forum. However, when United States or Europe experts talking about AI governance, China is always part of the rivalry or competitor. It's not for cooperation, but for compete. We need to compete with China in terms of AI. So if that is the mentality, how we can cooperate with each other, how we can govern this technology well under the framework of the global community. So that is really a very serious problem. So this regime complex also pointed out by Professor Xuelan, we can see that now we have a lot of mechanisms doing AI governance, like we have some professional organizations, we have intergovernmental organizations, and we have government agencies, legislative bodies, and multi-stakeholder organizations doing AI governance at the same time. And it is really difficult to coordinate with each other. We have international declarations, professional standards, and international assessment, and multi-stakeholder initiatives, all this related to AI. And just there's no single institution or agency doing the research or coordination for this issue. So which I personally believe is really a very dangerous thing. So Microsoft used to have a proposal for the governing AI, and they published a blueprint for the future, which is, I think, very reasonable and a very good suggestion. So we just put it here for us to consider, is try to implement and build up a new government-led AI safety frameworks. And then require effective safety breaks for AI systems that control critical infrastructure, which is really very dangerous issue if the AI systems just get into problem, then we need some break to stop it. And also to develop a broader legal and regulatory framework to promote transparency and ensure academic and public access to AI, to pursue new public-private partnership to use AI as an effective tool. So these are mainly about the AI governance in the global global community, or in the background of the global community. Now, try to introduce something about the AI governance in China. So ever since 2015, China began to pay much attention, the government pay much attention on AI governance and the data management. So from 2015, then right to 2022, almost every year we have issued not only the development plan, but also the guidelines for development, the guidelines for promoting deep integration of AI, and also the work plan for unveiling key tasks of innovation, the guidelines for construction of the new generation of AI standard system. So this is really on the top priority for the Chinese government. And also we have, the government also issued laws. We have cybersecurity law, the data security law of China, and also the personal information protection law of People's Republic of China, all issued before 2021. And then there are two very important, sorry, the titles are wrong. These are the position papers and initiative. One is that in December 13, 2021, China submitted its position paper on regulating the military application of AI to the UN Convention on Certain Conventional Weapons. You may not notice this news, but this is a really important gesture of Chinese government to make sure that the AI will have a responsible use of AI. And then in October 2023, China announced its Global AI Governance Initiative on the Third Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation. And if you are interested in it, you may check the details of this initiative. It covers all the principles of Chinese government on AI governance. So to promote responsible AI, from our institute, we are doing the research on the future directions of AI governance. And we have a few suggestions, like we need to have all these different colors of elements into consideration when we try to build a governance framework for AI and try to promote a responsible AI. So competence, fairness, safety, usability, human AI collaboration, accountability, and privacy should all taken into consideration. And also at the baseline is the interpretability. So finally, what we do in Tsinghua. Now we have a lot of schools and departments related to AI. It has no word of AI in their school names because they have established very long time ago when AI was not even in existence. So, but those schools and departments are doing AI-related courses or research, or they also have some kind of programs related to AI. Like we have School of Computer Sciences, we have Department of Electronic Engineering and Tsinghua Medicine, Academy of Arts and Design, and School of Architecture. All of them have AI-related courses or research or a program related to AI. And also, ever since 2018, Tsinghua has established the AI Troika, which means the three important institutes for AI. One is Institute for AI Intelligence, which is focusing on the development of AI technologies. And then we have Institute for AI Industry Research led by Professor Zhang Yaqing. And this institute is mainly focusing on how to translate AI into the industry applications. And they have a very good cooperation with the different companies and in the industry. And also the Institute for AI International Governance led by Professor Xue Lan. It is mainly focusing on how to have the governance framework or have international governance for AI. So this is the Institute for International Governance of AI. This is the vision and the mission. So it was established in 2020 and tried to leverage Tsinghua's sources and interdisciplinary advantages in AI and global governance. So the four pillars for this institute is academic research, conduct research on the theory and frontier practice of AI international governance, and then intellectual support. We provide consulting and intellectual support for policymakers and the government agencies. And also we have attached great importance to international cooperation. We have cooperate extensively with institutes or research institutes, not only from United States, but also from Europe, from Singapore, from many countries around the world, and also try to explore how to establish a just and responsible AI international governance system. So these are mainly the academic members. the top AI experts, now not only in Tsinghua, but also in some other partner universities around the world. And also these are the research teams of our AIIG. And we have, as I have mentioned, very vast, extensive cooperation with many areas of the world. And also we have a few important events, like we have AI governance lectures, AI governance dialogue, and also governance workshops. And every year we host the AI Forum for International Governance and Cooperation. And we produce a lot of research outputs and try to publish them. And one important thing is that every year we're doing the UNAI Youth AI for SDG Bootcamp. We try to have more young people on the board and try to let them know that we should make AI for sustainable development. And this is the important forum. The forum actually was started in 2018, and we have 2020. And last year we had this forum in Hong Kong together with Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, and we managed to invite top-level AI experts and also experts for AI governance into the forum, and we talk a lot about how to build an international governance mechanism or institution for this AI age. So these are mainly what I like to share with you, and I hope that we can talk more in the Q&A session. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was very, very engaging. Now we're moving to the discussion with students. So I'm giving the floor to Eva, the moderator of Tsinghua University.
Hey, hello everyone. My name is Ever. I'm the moderator from Tsinghua University. And now we're going to the next session, which is the panel discussion, which we first will have 5 panelists to talk about their unique experiences with AI and their thoughts on the topics. Then we will have the floor to questions. Okay, please let me introduce the participants today. First, we have students from Tsinghua University, Qiao Yingzi, a first-year undergraduate student of Department of Automation. She has profound interest in field of general AI training. Then we will have Song Yihong, a fourth-year undergraduate student from the Department of Computer Science. His focus is on AI and privacy protection. Then we will have Yu Jifan online. He is a postdoctoral fellow from the Institute of Education. And he is currently engaged in research on the integrated development of AI and education. Then we will have students from Nazarbayev University, Iraso Adirjanov, the president of Nazarbayev University Student Government, for a final year undergraduate student majoring in computer science. And then Ravel Asher Mamutov, the vice president of Nazarbayev University Student Government, final year undergraduate student majoring in mechanical and aerospace engineering. Okay, so let's welcome our first speaker.
Hello. Hi, my name is Qiao Yingzi, and I'm from the Department of Automation, and I'm honored to join in this forum today. Well, I'm currently in the General Artificial Intelligence program in the Department of Automation, which is in its collaboration with the General Artificial Intelligence Research Institute in Beijing. And what we are doing is that under the guidance from older students and professors, we are trying to explore the development of AGI and the unified theory. Professor Zhu Songchen has been guiding us and emphasizing on the importance to see the bigger picture and strive to establishes a heart for the machine. Just as the professor has shared, building the ethic values into robots isn't necessarily an easy task. However, in this institute, what we are trying to do is trying to build the ethic values and moral concepts into the robot itself and trying to make them have more intelligent or more human-like value and behaviors. Oh, well, is sound okay? Okay. In other words, the intelligent agent we are building is not only focusing on completing the tasks given by us human, but also requiring it to have an autonomous perception, learning, cognition, execution, and social collaboration abilities, which is required to be in line with human emotions, ethics, and other moral concepts. The current model we are using now is based on a large amount of data training, but we are trying to explore the possibility of using the small data, large task models and trying to explore the unified theory, which required the unify of the 6 main fields in the artificial intelligence. And what we are trying to do is trying to make the artificial intelligence to fit in with the 3 requirements for the generality. First, we need to make the robots to be able to complete infinite tasks rather than just the limited tasks given by us human. And secondly, the AI itself needs to find out tasks certain in the scene. And third, the robot itself needs to be driven by its own value, rather than passively by the data and the analyzation, which requires us to put the ethic values and human moral concepts into the robot itself. And under the development process, what we are doing is to try to build a figure-style robots in the institute. Take, for example, the development of TongTong, the intelligent agent which is said to have a 3-year-old child's intelligence. During the developing process, we first built the hand of TongTong as only a grasping hand, but substantially in order to fit in with the requirement of human lifestyles and make TongTong have more freedom in movement, we finally make TongTong's hand in similarity with human's hand. And TongTong can now grab things and move things like a child do. It's quite impressive. And not only this, many robots we are currently building in the General Artificial Research Institute is human-like robots, and we are building them in similarity to the structure of human or of the nature. Well, perhaps human-like construction may not be the most efficient solution to many problems, but in our opinion, the generality required us to not only be satisfied with the achievements in laboratory, but also the achievements we have, it has practical effects in the real world and outside the laboratory, which means that the robots or AI we are building has to fit in with the society itself. Well, currently, most of the mechanism of our society is built to serve as human and rather than AI itself. So rather than make the society change to fit in with the AI, it is more practical to make the AI adaptable to the society and to the human life, both spiritual and substantial, which means us to build the robots to be more, human-like and have human value, have human ethics. So we are currently exploring on how to build the human emotions, human ethic concepts into the AI itself and build a more fault-tolerant AI agents. And yeah, I'm really glad that I have a chance to will share my views and share what we are doing in the General Artificial Research Institute with us today, and hear from you all from the perspective of social governance and other aspects. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Chao Yingzi. Now let Song Hongyi speak. Song Yihong speak.
Okay. Thank you to the previous teachers and classmates for sharing, which has brought me a lot of insights. Next, I would like to share with you a piece of work I recently published at NDSS concerning privacy protection during the AI inference process. The title of the work is You Can Use But Cannot Recognize Preserving Visual Privacy in Deep Neural Networks. Firstly, I attempt to define the problem under discussion. Deep learning models, when processing large amounts of data, especially images containing personal privacy information, pose potential risks of privacy leakage. This leakage can occur not only through the direct output of the model, but also through indirect feature learning by the model, enabling attackers to infer or reconstruct training data by accessing the model. Current solutions to this problem, such as homomorphic encryption and differential privacy technologies, can provide protection to some extent, but often differential privacy technology come with a significant increase in computational cost or a significant decrease in model performance. This performance degradation is unacceptable in applications requiring high accuracy models. Moreover, existing methods often fail to achieve the intended level of privacy protection in practical applications. Hence, the urgent need for a new method that can effectively balance privacy protection and model performance. Therefore, we propose a framework named Visual Mixer, which employs a unique image mixing technique to protect data privacy without relying on adding noise, thus preserving privacy without sacrificing image quality. In contrast, differential privacy usually achieves privacy protection by adding random noise to the data, which may usually achieve privacy protection by adding random reduce the utility of the data and the accuracy of the model. The advantage of Visual Mixer lies in its ability to achieve efficient privacy protection while maintaining data usability by precisely controlling the degree of image mixing. Visual Mixer ensures data privacy while returning useful information for model training, therefore avoiding the common performance loss issues in traditional differential privacy methods. Furthermore, we discuss possible attack methods which can be broadly divided into two types. One is through reverse engineering of the shuffle operation to restore the origin images. The second type is heuristic attacks against training weights, where the methods attempt to obtain original data by attacking the weight files obtained from training. Through experiments, we have verified the effectiveness of our method in privacy protection, as well as its impact on model accuracy and performance. The accuracy is close to that the original model. We hope that by sharing this work, we can draw more attention to the risk of user privacy leakage in the area of big data and large models. And we hope that more researchers can contribute to this field. Thank you.
Thank you, Song Yihong. And now we would turn the mic to Yu Jifan online. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Respected expert, my name is Jifan Yu from the Institute of Education, Tsinghua University. I completed my PhD at Tsinghua University Department of Computer Science, specializing in generative artificial intelligence, especially in integration with knowledge. Over the past 7 years, I have been involved in research on adaptive education and online learning as MOOCs. In general, one of my main observations is that for online and remote learning environment, a significant challenge lies in balancing the scale of learning and with the quality of education. MOOCs once opened up vast learning resource, but there was a high dropout rate among students because individual learners were unable to receive a sufficient interaction and guidance. In the era of large language models, we might see a partial solution to this issue. I'm currently involved in a project led by Tsinghua University, which focuses on using generative AI in classrooms. This year, it is being implemented in 100 courses. There are some aspects of this project that really excite me. For example, we are trying to use AI to build a complete adaptive classroom setup. This includes AI-powered teachers and students, where multiple AI agents serve just one student. In this setup, human teachers don't need to lecture anymore. They only need to provide learning resources and supervision. Students interact solely with AI for their learning process, and the AI handles all of the teaching. This would have been unimaginable in the past. I believe that as technology advances, even though physical classrooms are still a way off from being supported by such service, online education might be the first to undergo a massive transformation. This could significantly promote educational quality. Of course, this also implies that the future requirements for human teachers will change. Some skills that were important before might not as crucial currently, while high-level thinking will become more crucial. That's my experience. Thank you for listening.
Okay. Thank you, Yu Jifan. Now we will have students from Nazarbayev University. Yeraso.
Hello, everyone. Once again, thank you for the wonderful presentations, both from the Nazarbayev University and the Tsinghua University. Thanks, Professor Lane Sharplin, and thanks our dear colleagues from Tsinghua University. The topics discussed on these presentations were so modern, I would say. There are some things that we are not even prepared to fathom, and there are so many questions that we are still yet to address, especially in the field of AI governance. I'm particularly struck by the China's plans on how to use AI in the future and how to develop AI and how to address some of the issues connected with the artificial intelligence. Well, speaking about the, let's say, personal perspective on the AI and its use, well, I myself, I specialize in computer science, and I am the member of Nazarbayev University Internet of Things Lab, and we use machine learning in many of our research projects. And the usage of machine learning techniques, especially on small IoT devices, they are quite simple. Yet we still address the ethical consideration of how we collect data, or how we store data, or how we process data, and especially this comes it is really important when it also comes to federated learning, when multiple devices collect multiple data sets, and then it is combined across different devices and then used to process some mission critical data, or solving mission critical, let's say, problems. We are currently working with the Kazakhstan's railway company, Kazakhstan Temir. It's called, and the project is itself dedicated to saving lives of people who work on the railroads. When the trains, so there are a number of accidents that could happen on a railroad, and we use IoT devices to actually prevent the collisions of trains between each other, and the collisions of trains and the personnel who are working on the railroads. And since such kind of projects solve such sensitive problems, the way how machine learning models take decisions, and how they how we collect data in order to train these machine learning models, the ethical considerations are indeed, I wouldn't call it troubling, but it requires so much attention to detail on how to actually address such kind of issues. There are also our senior undergraduate students are working on senior projects using machine learning on the edge, on the edge computing, especially when it comes to radio transmissions, on how data is being sent and processed across devices, and how the radio signal is being affected. And we use machine learning models in order to understand how snow, because Kazakhstan has some quite harsh climate, how snow, wind, rain affects the radio signal and the data is being sent across these radio signals. And again, the problems of acknowledging how we use machine learning and how we do these things, it's quite important. And as Professor Elaine Sharpman said, we also let's say, utilize the statements of acceptable AI usage in research, and also we also use the IEEE professional standards on how to quote the usage of generative artificial intelligence, which was used in the process of writing papers or brainstorming the ideas. Moreover, in the research, in different labs of our university, students conduct research on augmented reality, on virtual reality, which also employs some of the artificial intelligence and machine learning practices, and which also has a context on data collection from human subjects. And the acknowledgements on how to ethically process and how to ethically approach this whole research process from the very beginning to the very end is quite a concerning problem for academics and for the students, at least here at Nazarbayev University. So again, our university is still young. We are 13 years, I believe, 13 years old, and we are still working our way on how to actually on how to collect these, let's say, experiences across the world, so that we can build a responsible and sustainable approach on the use of AI at Nazarbayev universities. And in today's presentations were really good on pinpointing actually these, let's say, categories which should be addressed in the near future. It's just a matter of 10 years, I believe, when this will be, let's say, critical. And again, thank you, the students from Tsinghua University, and thank you, our marvelous speakers. And I hope today's forum will provide so much many more insights in how we can address the usage of artificial intelligence and machine learning practices in the way we use it today and in the way how we use it in the future. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Russell. Now let's turn the mic to Ravel.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. So, my name is Avil. I am fourth year mechanical engineering student here at Nazarbayev University. And from engineering perspective, I want to start with the fact that now people want to tend to say that AI is fourth industrial revolution. So the first one was mechanization, then we had electrification, automatization, and now they tend to say that AI is the fourth one. So in my opinion, integrity, collaboration, and connection is the only way how people can actually construct the proper environment to use AI and machine learning, neural networks, and so on. Because each state, each university, each professor, each faculty member will have a different opinion on that. So they have to cooperate and to create a network that will allow them to share their opinions, to construct the new ideas, how they properly engage AI in the education, right? Also, as I'm an engineer, I want to talk that we should not only focus on the education, right? Because AI, as someone said earlier, is being used even in the military area now. So it's not minor importance. Again, the world is evolving very fast, and even war and military must be accounted there. Also, again, we should understand that students will have different opinion, faculty members will have different opinion, administration will have different opinion. So we should establish some way of understanding each other, because understanding, listening to each other in this fast paced life and AI era is very important, because I think I could not imagine 5 years ago that we will live like this. It's too difficult to think what will happen in the next year even now. So also, I think that we need more practice and we need to get more experience on implementing AI in our life. And only after that, we can ensure that our decision that we will take likely is being the right and the only one right. So I want to come back to the thing that integrity, connection, and collaboration is the only way I see that we can cope with this issue, if we can call it even an issue. So thank you for invitation. Thank you, everyone. That was a good and I would say useful even for me forum. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the insightful sharings and the enlightening perspectives. Now, we would like to give the chance to everyone to ask any questions if you have and share your thoughts. If you're from Tsinghua University, you can just simply raise your hand. If you're online, you can ask for permission to speak. Just click on the mic or type in your questions on the chat. Both way works. Okay.
Okay, hi. Well, I'm interested in Professor Shaplin's, research and other practical programs in the use of artificial intelligence in education. So maybe I would ask maybe Professor Shaplin, what's your opinion on the differences between the production of AI and the production of human, which is helped by AI? So what's the boundary and what's the criteria between those two things, and how is that gonna affect the education and other social practice?
Great, thank you. Can you just repeat that one more time? The difference between, what is the difference between?
Well, maybe the production of an artificial intelligence and production by us human, but it's helped by artificial intelligence in many ways. What's the difference between those two kinds of production?
Good question. I think, I mean, I don't think AI as an entity needs protection, but I certainly think people need protection from AI. And I think we need to protect ourselves by ensuring that we know and understand. I guess I am an educator, and so for me, our best form of protection is knowledge, that we actually know what we're doing. And I guess my fear at the moment, because AI is, despite the gestation period in terms of impact on our daily life, it's really so recent that, in my experience, and I'm coming from the perspective of educators, there are many educators that really have not completed the necessary professional learning to be up to date with what's happening. And so that's what I think, as students, you are in a very powerful position, that you are better informed than many faculty at university. And I guess it embarrasses me to say that as a university faculty member, but I think it's a reality. And as a university, we have an important role to actually try and encourage and motivate faculty to immerse themselves in understanding. I recently had a very interesting discussion with some colleagues, and they were very opposed to all sorts of artificial intelligence. And my view is they're opposed because they don't understand and they're frightened. And that's a typical human response. When we don't know, we get frightened. So in terms of what do we have to do to protect humans, I think we have to ensure that we are adhering to integrity in research. Thank you, Yerusul, for identifying how you are doing research in an ethical way. And I think we really need to think about the impact of breaches of intellectual property, because I think that's what we don't consider when we are actually taking other people's ideas, whether it's their images or their music or their text. We are stealing their property, and that actually has implications. I mean, if you think probably about music or software production, when we take away the rights of performers to earn money for their music, we're impoverishing them. So that's why I think we need to think about it. I think people think it's just, I'm just pasting words on a page and it has no consequences. So I think that's where I'll stop my answer. Thank you.
Thank you for the answer. Thank you.
Yes, anybody else?
I have a question.
Okay.
Thanks for the insightful talk, Professor Shaplin. I truly believe that the ethics is a critical issue in education and AI-driven research. However, it seems that to tackle these increasingly complex problems, educational researchers might also need to upgrade their toolkit. My question is, what kind of education researchers do you think will be able to contribute more constructive research on these topics in the future? Should they also possess a deeper technical knowledge and understanding of the cutting edge, or would a strong grounding in philosophical methodologies suffice is enough?
Thank you so much. That's a fantastic question. My quick answer is I think that researchers must have a much more complex understanding of ethical issues. And the reason why I said in the concluding my presentation is ethics isn't easy. And a lot of researchers, and I would actually say, again, older researchers are more likely to have negative attitudes towards research ethics than younger researchers. I think younger researchers tend to have an understanding that this is important for protection, whereas older researchers tend to think that this is just a hurdle that has to be jumped. It's administrative and it's compliance. And that's because it perhaps wasn't such a big issue when they became researchers. But the reason why research ethics isn't easy is because it's not about right and wrong in a simple black and white fashion. And it's certainly not about a compliance checklist. So it's not about saying, yes, I've included my informed consent. Yes, I've given a description of the risks. And now I want to go and do my research. It's actually thinking about all of the shades of grey, and most importantly, thinking about what's not foreseeable, if that makes any sense. Because when we put in ethical application processes, it's about what we foresee as being the challenges and problems. The reality is that once we start research, things happen that we don't foresee. And therefore, an ethical researcher recognizes those things and actually takes action to address them. An unethical researcher says, well, I've already got my research ethics approved. I just keep on going. So absolutely, what I would dearly love is that everybody would take to heart the notion of integrity as being fundamental to all aspects of our academic work, to our research work, to our teaching work. I just want to finish by saying, one thing I didn't emphasize in my presentation earlier was the statement we've got on acceptable usage, which is directed towards students. But in actual fact, our policy states that faculty need to declare the use of AI in their work as well. And so if they're preparing an assessment task, which is done with the generation of AI component, then faculty also need to acknowledge. So we're trying to be equitable and apply the same standard for all academics.
Thank you. Thank you for inspirable ideas. Maybe I need to recommend more my classmates who major in CIS to education, I think, in the future.
Great.
Okay, I actually got a question from students. This is a question for both universities. Are there any systems or teachers that can recognize AI writings? Or how can they distinguish work that is done by AI or a work is done by students itself? Maybe Professor Xiao can start.
We have a lot of discussions on that among the faculty members, but I don't think there's a very clear standard or clear benchmark for differentiation the writings by ChatGPT or by some AI or produced by the students themselves, so by people. However, when we read something in AI, we can have a feeling that it is, because in many productions of AI, it seems like it is reasonable, but when you think more about the content, is just just talking very, how should I say, just very empty, but looks like very reasonable. But however, I believe that when the large language models developed more and more, and it has more trainings, then the productions will be better and better, and it will be more difficult for people to differentiate the content written by AI and content written by people, by human being. So I think now we can only require those who are using ChatGPT in their, I mean, in the things they produce, just to make them, I mean, just kind of to signal that it is used by ChatGPT or by AI. Just we can only require people to do that instead of letting the professors themselves to differentiate. That is really difficult to do at the moment. But maybe in the future we can produce some of the technologies to make this possible. Maybe some students, the students from the computer sciences can have this answer or something. Yingzi?
Oh, well, I have no idea, but well, it is said, in our students, it is said that if we if we committed a work that is produced by AI, well, the teacher or the assessment of the teachers can track down the data itself and discuss it from what we have done itself. It can track down the data and the code behind it and differentiate it from what we done ourselves. It is said that in our student group, but well, currently what AI has done, well, based on my current experience, I don't think what AI has published or AI has write, in Chinese, it has a huge difference between what we human done ourselves and what the AI done itself. It's a huge difference. The AI use a lot of metaphoric and a lot of things that is very strange, and we human don't put it that way, but AI would put it, and I think that's a huge difference. And I don't know, maybe some code and the data behind what we write, the essay behind is different.
Excuse me, can I interrupt? I want to provide some insights from the technical domain. There are two major techniques that may help this phenomenon, I think. One is the generative AI's content detection. This is a very new and rising topic in the neural language processing domain. And we have developed some tools to directly detect whether this content is written by the GPT or a human being. This is one technique. Another one is technical about LLM watermarking.
Yeah.
We have promote every LM to provide a watermark to to annotate that the content is written by itself, but not by other LMs and other human beings. And these two topics are very popular in the artificial intelligence domain, I think. Maybe we need other policies from the government or other organizations to push all the AI developers to follow these two techniques. But I think this can have solutions from techniques. Thanks. Sorry.
Yes, just add something more. Thank you for mentioning the watermarks, because the deep fakes and also misinformation related to AI is really a big concern for the global community, especially this year. It is a big year of general election in many countries, and people just feel that some of the video or these are kind of related to elections, some video made by those presidents or the candidates might be forced or might be produced by some AI. So it is also a very rising demand that we must have some watermarking technology input into this kind of video production or some kind of the news production. So this is a very hot topic right now. And also in terms of education, I really think it is necessary to have this watermarking or to have it really a kind of a watermarking to make sure that this content was produced by the ChatGPT or by some AI.
And Professor Sharpling, would you add on something?
Yeah, look, thank you. I agree with the comments made that I think this is going to get harder, for sure. But I actually think that there are some fundamental things in relation to the educational process that we can do that are not so hard, especially, I guess, in environments where the student and faculty ratio are not too great. But I think one of the best ways of counteracting use of generative AI is really about cultivating effective relationships with students. And if you know students, then first of all, they're less likely to try and take this because they respect you and they will not submit work which is dishonest. Secondly, I think if we have process-based assessments, assessments which require students to submit evidence of works in progress, not just completed tasks at the end, then having dialogue and feedback on those assessments makes sure that the faculty member can have a lot of confidence that it is the student's own work because they've seen and observed the developmental process. And again, finally, my colleague Raquel Renegade will talk later about one of the approaches being used in one of the schools. But what we are finding is that, again, if effective relationships established with students where people suspect that there is AI, and I go back to it's often really a sense that what's being produced is not consistent with the persona of the student that you know in class, when you bring students in and you have a discussion with them, they usually are very honest actually and say, yes, this is not my own work. So for me, a fundamental principle of effective teaching is to establish good, trusting, honest relationships with students and to have really effective process designed assessments, and that will limit some of these issues.
Okay, any other questions?
Yes, there was a question in the Q&A section. And this question is from Botta Altanhanova to Professor Xiao Qian. The question is, considering the emphasis on international collaboration and governance in AI development, how can AI in education benefit from global regulatory frameworks, and what role should international cooperation play in ensuring equitable access to AI-powered educational technologies?
Well, it is really a very good question. If I can see the words of can I? Oh, anyway, just about the international cooperation for AI empowered in education, right? Actually, as far as I know, AI empowered education at the moment is strongly promoted by the UNESCO. It is under the framework of United Nations, the framework, and we have very good cooperation with the different countries under the framework of UNESCO. And as I have mentioned during my PPT, that UNESCO also issued some kind of guidelines for AI application in 2021. As some of international, that is a method for cooperation under the framework of UNESCO, and it is also strongly supported by China. And also, for Tsinghua University, we have very close cooperation with other partner universities in terms of AI-empowered education. We have a MOOC that is a World Alliance, MOOC Alliance of Universities. I guess we have a very close relationship with your university as well. Under that framework, we have a lot of discussions and workshops on how to use AI in teaching, in learning, and try to have a very good AI empowered education programs. So that is another way for cooperation in this regard. As for at the moment, it is since I have mentioned a lot of problems about AI governance, I don't think at the moment it is possible for a kind of international regulation or guidelines, a very high level guidelines for different countries to follow in terms of AI empowered education, because of the problem of fragmentation of AI international governance. But I hope in the future we can do something in this regard, and preferably under the framework of UNESCO. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone. I guess time is up. Thank you so much for participating in today's session. And then thank you all the speakers and the student participants. Before you go, we would like to ask everyone to do a group photo. For Tsinghua students, please come to the front. And then for Nazarbayev University students, could you turn on your camera and then we can do a group photo together? 我们站过去，大家在前面，我们来合个影。哎 ，OK， 一起，来。哦，没关系，挡不到，挡不到，我们可以来，所有人往中间。好，这个老师站这边，往中间站，中间站 ，OK， 可不可以？来，所有人往中间 ，OK，everybody，let's turn on the camera. Okay, I say 3, 2, 1, cheese. Okay, thank you, everybody.
Okay, so this panel discussion has come to an end, come to a close. We'd like to restate that you, Tsinghua University members, students, and professors are welcome to stay during the whole forum and to ask questions, and additionally participate in the discussions that arise during the whole forum. Additionally, we have a contest coming up soon, and it is going to be exclusive for the current participants that are in this Microsoft Teams meeting right now. That means that you can't share it with any one of your friends, so they better join here. And to further explain the details of the contest, we invite the member of the Ministry of Research and Innovations at NU Student Government, Chingiz Kadiyev.
Hello, everyone. So I have announcements for the participants of the forum. The Ministry of Research and Innovations of Nazarbayev University Student Government is announcing the comic contest for the participants only. So you will be given time until the end of April to draw comics on the topics of research ethics and/or integrity. The comics is a creative work, so the plot is up to you. The best 3 works will win valuable monetary prizes. You can work individually or in teams. You can set more than 1 work, but remember that only 1 work of yours will be able to be placed in the top 3. The work can be done in English, Kazakh, or Russian languages. We also ask you not to use AI generators, so we'll have to So you will have to send either screen recordings or screenshots of your work process. We will send detailed instructions further to the emails you are registered with, so stay tuned and do not be afraid to contact us if you have questions. Good luck.
Thank you for explaining the details, Chingiz Khalif. And also, we'd like to mention that you can ask your questions and share your opinions in the chat. And we have a special Q&A form that you can access through the chat and type in your questions that will be asked at the end of each section.
Okay, yes. And now, before, moving back to the session, our next speaker is the training and implementation consultant EMEA at Turnitin, Yasemin Arshin, who will share opinions about integrity and the role of integrity not only in academic life, but also in professional and personal lives. So please welcome. The stage is yours.
All right, I guess you can hear me now.
Hello, yes.
So
Can you
good
share your
afternoon.
screen right now?
Right now, I cannot share. At
Oh,
least
you
I
can.
can talk at
Okay.
the moment. Yes.
Yeah.
Hi,
Just a
everyone,
moment.
by the way. All right, I can share now, right now. So let me share my screen and then we can start. All right. So. Okay, I believe you can see my screen at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. So, hi everyone. My name is Yasemin Arshin, and I work as training and implementation consultant at Turnitin. So I'm very proud to be part of this lovely event with lots of insights. And it's great to see that students are also in action. So this is your forum anyway. So thank you very much for the invitation, and I'm really happy to be here. So today, with this presentation, I will be talking about AI evolution and Turnitin's response. This is the title of my presentation. While preparing this presentation, I was just questioning, like, is it evolution or revolution or both? So actually evolution is the right word, I believe. So I will be talking about how do we respond to AI evolution at Turnitin. So my email address is yarsin@turnitin.com. Whenever you have questions about our AI writing detection or anything related to academic integrity with Turnitin's perspective, you can definitely write me an email. So let's see what we have on our agenda today. So we will define academic integrity. Of course, I'm sure that you are familiar with the definition already, but I would like to share it with some core fundamental values. And then I will touch upon why we all need academic integrity. So this will be an important part of the presentation that I have for you. And then we will go to in a little bit negative topic. So threats to academic integrity. Unfortunately, it's part of the reality, and we will be talking about, the history of threats to academic integrity and how we make an effort to minimize them, to reduce them across the institutions with our resources and platforms that we provide for educational institutions. And then we will come to the AI topic. I've got lots of insights from the previous panel, by the way, especially in the Q&A session. I realized that we are actually on the same page. So I will be talking about how Turnitin's AI writing detection tool works, and then challenges and opportunities for students in the era of AI will be shared with you. And then I will come up with some recommendations for students on the use of AI tools. And these recommendations will come from Yasemin Arshin, who is a former educator. That is why I can understand, I've been I've taught for 10 years as an English teacher in Turkey, so I can understand the student perspective very well and also teacher's perspective. That is why I would like to come up with those recommendations as a Turnitin representative as well. And then we will make a conclusion. I will summarize my presentation, and I believe it will be another insightful presentation for you. And in the last 10 to 15 minutes, we can have your questions, and I will be glad to be answering them. All right. Then let's come to the definition. So this definition comes from an article from the International Center of Academic Integrity. I put the source here, so I'm not plagiarizing. So academic integrity is a commitment, even in the face of adversity, to 6 fundamental values. And these values are not only about academic integrity, actually they should be in our character, personality, in our even personal lives, right? You will get to understand what I mean. So let's count all those values here: honesty, trust, fairness, respect, responsibility, and courage. As you can see from those words, nouns that I've used from the source, academic integrity is not a rocket science. So it's very easy to realize it, to actualize it, to make it real in your academic life, in your educational journey. And also, when you make them habit in your academic life, in your education, actually you will see the reflection in your professional life. The university is where you make yourself prepared for the career as well, for your future career. So once you cherish these values, embrace these values, you will be definitely much better professionals in your work life. So let's keep those fundamental values in our mind. And with those values in mind, I would like to talk about why do we need academic integrity. Here in the slide, you will see that I put all here. So it's not about only students. We are talking about educators, administrators, decision makers, and even parents involved in some cases at high school or at university level. So we all need academic integrity. So I have summarized some of the insights from the ebook, our ebook titled Academic Integrity Essentials. So I would like to tell you why do we need it. Academic integrity is an important component of an educational journey for the below reasons. Now we will spend some time on those reasons at the moment. So we need to support authentic and meaningful learning. You have enrolled at university to learn, to improve your skills, whether they are, practical skills or soft skills. And when you got a diploma, a paper copy of your learning journey, so it's not about diploma only. So you need to show off, to your future employers, to show that you had a meaningful journey. And can you imagine if you're paying someone else to do your assignment, or if you're copying and pasting all the time into your assignment without any referencing? This is not authentic or meaningful learning. You are not learning anything, but you are just, repeating what others stated, and you are not even showing that this comes from a source. Actually, this is not my original thought. So in order to make your learning journey meaningful, be honest and embrace academic integrity. And the second one, we need to make sure that every piece of academic work is assessed fairly. This is one of the major purposes of education when it comes to the assessment. Can you imagine, I'm a lazy student, I'm all the time, doing some academic misconduct, including cheating, plagiarism, etc. I will be at an advantage position, but what about the hardworking students? What about the ethical students? So they will be disadvantaged. So there will be unfairness across the institution. That is why educators would collaborate, with the cooperation and collaboration with students and administrators and decision makers as well. So they would like to make sure that every piece of academic work will be assessed fairly. And the third one, we need a certain culture in our institution and culture of respect. And this respect, this culture of respect will be reflected on your professional life too. We need to establish it in and beyond our institution. So it's not about your university at the moment, your university life at the moment. When you become a professional, you should show these values to everyone that you have been working with. And then the fourth one, we need to ensure honesty, not only in education, but also in workplace. So we cannot think about education life and work experience completely separately and independently. They are connected and they are, pretty much in line with each other, especially in our century with the AI developments, etc. So we are trying to, educate and train and also instruct our students for the future life so that they can, improve themselves in their endless journey. And the next one, we need to protect our reputation as well as the institutions. Reputation is very important, not only in academic life, but also in your personal, private life. So I remember, I guess it is a saying by the founder of Bosch. So he stated that instead of, losing someone's trust, I prefer to lose money. So losing someone's trust means losing your reputation at the same time. So once you have done some academic misconduct, it can be plagiarism or any other form of cheating. So you will lose your reputation. People will not believe you anymore. Even if you try to prove yourself, you will be struggling because it's very hard to re-establish your reputation. And it is the same for institutions. I don't know if you do it or not, but I have some Google alerts and I receive emails every day about plagiarism. So I can see that, lots of educational institutions are struggling with the plagiarism cases because they really care about their institutional reputation as well. And you have a good university. It is one of the top universities in your country. So you should keep your reputation good as well as your institution. As you can see, there are so many reasons behind why we need academic integrity. If you would like to have more details about this topic, you can check the ebook, Academic Integrity Essentials. Indeed, it has been intended for educators, but I believe it will be also very useful for you. All right, so I put it here, and at some point, I believe that this presentation will be shared with you as well. I can share it with Yevgenia. All right, and then now we are coming to a little bit, adversity of the, some practices in academia, threats to academic integrity. As you can imagine, over the years, with the advancing technology, the methods and sophistication for academic misconduct has evolved in an unprecedented manner. So in an unprecedented way. So that is why it requires constant innovation. Like organizations, in order organizations like Turnitin, because we are one of the leading institutions, organizations, let's say, in the world, safeguarding academic integrity. So we are providing resources and platforms for plagiarism detection. Many people know us like this, but actually we would like to prevent plagiarism. So detection is part of the process. And that is why we would like to actually support both educators and students, as well as the decision makers at every stage of their academic integrity journey. So let's look at the timeline, the history of threats to academic integrity together here. 1998, probably many of you here were not born at that time, and I was also very young. So it started with copy paste. So basically copying and pasting from a source. It can be a book, an academic article. I don't know how internet was developed at that time. but it started with copy paste and then collusion. We usually talk about it in the way student collusion. Student collusion, basically, let's say a student is copying and pasting from another student paper without any citation, without any referencing, and this is plagiarism, right? This is copy-paste plagiarism, and this is not acceptable within the scope of academic integrity. So cloning someone's work, word for word, or working together and each student submits the same work. So student collusion, still unfortunately a common practice that we would like to detect and also prevent. That is why we are working closely with universities and other educational institutions. Research misconduct, sometimes academic misconduct, a threat to academic integrity may happen with a researcher. So splintering findings, like fragmenting findings to appear more prolific, borrowing from others' research, or self-plagiarizing across multiple submissions. So research misconduct is not only, copying and pasting from some other people's research. You might also self-plagiarize. So this is something that might sound innocent because, oh, it is my article. I published it 5 years ago, and it is my opinion, so I don't have to cite it. No, this is called self-plagiarism, actually, within the dictionary of academic integrity. And then contract cheating. Contract cheating is still an issue that we have been struggling with. So there are websites, paper mills, as we call it. They are writing essays for students. They claim that they are helping students, but actually they are not at all. And they are putting students in a very difficult position, because students will also get stressed because of, paying someone to do the assignment. And this is called contract cheating. And another definition might be hiring a third party to ghostwrite an assignment. Can you imagine you are just paying someone and this person is writing the essay for you? So whose effort is this? And this is openly cheating, so it is also not acceptable. Code plagiarism, it is reusing or copying another programmer's code or copying from open source without attribution. This has been also very common, unfortunately, with the advanced technology. Unfair paraphrasing. With the development of paraphrasing tools, we have another issue that we need to deal with on our agenda: restating ideas, passages, sections without giving due credit to the author. So you are copying and pasting a certain text, you are putting it into a paraphrasing tool, and you place it in your essay as if your original thought, your voice. Actually, it is not, and you are just using a tool to rewrite it in different words without any citation. So this is also not something that we would accept. And now let's come to AI writing. So AI writing has been one of the most discussed topics, I believe, in the recent years. So AI writing is basically passing off the AI generated writing as one's own original work. So you write a prompt in a generative AI tool like ChatGPT. Right now we have thousands of them. I cannot keep up with the pace of the AI tools at the moment. So you just give a prompt, and according to your prompt, there will be a text generated and even image generated. So there are so many sophisticated generative AI tools. So we need to be familiar with them, but in what ways we should use them. So this is a very important question. And there are also some other questions in my mind that I will be sharing with you. Now, let's come to the AI technology at Turnitin. AI technology is not something new at Turnitin. I've been working at Turnitin for more than 2 years, but as an educator a few years ago, I was also using Turnitin. So I know how the platforms provided by Turnitin have developed over time. And I can tell you the first AI portfolio was built in 2014, so 10 years ago. And then after, let's say, 6 years, in 2020, OpenAI released GPT-3. Turnitin began research on generative AI detection capabilities. In 2021, Turnitin stated that, okay, we are working on it in a more sophisticated manner. That is why they continued research and development around detecting paraphrase writing, AI writing. And in 2022, OpenAI released ChatGPT in November based on GPT 3.5. Turnitin accelerated development of an AI writing detector. And good news, or bad news, I don't know. We will be, I'm of course joking here with you because I know student mentality very well, but at the same time, if you are honest, you will not be frightened with the detection capabilities of Turnitin. So in 2023, Turnitin launched the AI writing detection tool for the first time on the 4th of April. So it's been almost 1 year we have it, and I would like to share the details of the AI writing detection tool at Turnitin. So you can call it AI writing detection tool, AI indicator, and the report, we call it AI report. If you are familiar with Turnitin and the similarity report generated, so AI report is attached to the similarity report, but it is visible to administrators and instructors only at the moment. Students will be able to see them in the near future, I believe. I cannot give you a time frame for that, but at the moment, instructors can see the report, and if they would like to share it with their students, they will do so. All right, now let's come to the important details. So AI writing indicator has been added to the similarity report. When an instructor opens the similarity report on the right side, actually she or he will see the similarity matches from the database. It can be an academic article, website, or student paper. And there will be a box showing the AI score. So that is why for teachers, it is quite easy to have it and understand it. And it is completely independent from the similarity report, because similarity report checks something else. AI report checks something else. All right. So it shows an overall percentage of the document that AI writing tools may have generated. And it highlights the text segments that our model predicts were written by AI. In a similarity report, you will see different similarity matches from the database in different colors because our matches are color coded. But in the AI writing detection report, it is just in blue. It shows all the high text segments highlighted, and we can understand that AI detection has found them. These sentences might have been written by an AI tool, generative AI tool. As I told you before, only instructors and administrators are able to see the indicator. It looks for prose sentences contained in long form writing, because the AI writing detection tool should be able to understand from the continuation of the sentence that this sentence has been written by a human or by an AI generative AI tool. So when you see a text, actually it is very, not very easy, but it is quite easy to understand this text has been written by a generative AI tool, because it's in the majority of cases I tested, it sounds quite artificial and very professional, for example. So, but when you look at the AI writing detection tool report, you will see them highlighted anyway. So it will provide an extra insight about student performance. Turnitin, this is a significant point to highlight. Turnitin does not make a determination of academic misconduct. So in order to catch the attention, sometimes, the content writers come up with a headline like, what should you do as a student if Turnitin accuses you of plagiarism? Turnitin will never accuse any students for any form of academic misconduct. We just provide, platforms and sources and services to, support educators and students in their teaching and learning journey. So Turnitin will never speak about a student super precisely, this is plagiarism or this is cheating. We are just giving the educators the data from the system, and it will be the decision will be teachers with your institutions, because there are so many other factors and parameters that they need to consider. That is why my final sentence on this slide: educators evaluate student papers according to the type of the task assigned, content, student profile, academic integrity policies of their institutions, as well as the data provided by Turnitin in the similarity and AI reports. So it is not only one AI score on the screen. For example, as an educator, I've seen 75 AI score, 75% AI score. I will not judge a paper immediately according to the score, because there is similarity report with the similarity matches, red flags, filters, and exclusions. So it is not something that I will take a solid decision about the future of the student. So that is why don't make Turnitin something to be scared of. Your teachers, your instructors are aware that there are so many ingredients to take into consideration. So it's not only one AI score. All right. So Turnitin will never make a determination of academic misconduct. This is the summary of this slide, I can tell you. And AI score, AI report looks like that. When a teacher opens the similarity report, when they click on the AI box, actually it is opened in a new tab. And in the feature, it will be visible to the students, and teachers will decide to share it with their students or not. So you should be aware that we are capable of detecting AI writing. And then, so let's come to, as a Turnitin representative, I wanted to give you an insight about how the AI writing detection tool works. Right now, as a former educator, I would like to provide my insights with the combination of my position at Turnitin. So challenges for students, what kind of challenges might you have? So this is an important topic, because when you are faced with a challenge, you should know how to handle it so that you can improve yourself in many ways, and you can also keep academic integrity at the core of your learning journey. So showing the proof of learning when the AI tools are used. So let's assume that in an assignment, in one part of my assignment, I'm using ChatGPT. So in what ways it might be helpful in my learning journey? For example, if I copy and paste a text immediately into my paper without any referencing, then what did I learn from that experience, and how can I show it to my teacher? So it is very hard to show the proof of learning when you use the AI tools, because it's not your original thought. You didn't make these sentences by yourself. Or you put a text into a paraphrasing tool. So without, again, any referencing or citation. So that is why this should be something that you really take into account. Any task that you're assigned to, any assignment should be contributing to your learning journey at university. And then the second one, the third one are pretty much connected, and we really need to read a lot about this, I guess. This is our collective responsibility. It's really hard. It's a big challenge to track the AI developments in the country and in the world. So in your country, it might be different. In the EU countries, it might be different. In Canada, AI developments, all the regulations, rules and regulations might be different. So we need to keep ourselves up to date about what's going on, because AI, I believe, I'm not an AI scientist, I studied literature, but in my opinion, based on the articles that I have read so far, AI will be our future. So we need to, keep ourselves updated about the AI developments in the country, in our countries, respective countries, and all around the world. So, and then in your university, what are the new academic integrity policies? Keep an eye on them. What is the perspective of the decision makers? What are the thoughts of your instructors that you have been closely working with? Have a conversation with them, talk to them. So learn about their opinion, because you are working with them. You need to hear from them. For example, one instructor may tell you, in this assignment, you can use a paraphrasing tool because you are a non-native speaker of English, and I would like to see how you integrate the AI tool into your assignment. So it really depends on the institution, the instructor style, content of the course. So talk to your instructors about the academic integrity policies and recommendations from their sides. So tracking them might be a challenge, but I guess communication will be, will open the door for that. And then acquiring new learning skills around AI. I told you that I studied literature, and then I was an English teacher for 10 years, and I worked in international organizations. So for me, AI also is itself a big challenge to understand, because it's a very technical subject at the same time. So acquiring new skills will be very important for you and for me too, and for your instructors too. So again, it's a collective challenge. So, and we are aware of that. And in many articles that I have read, I can tell you AI literacy is the key word. So it will be one of the top skills that employers will look for as well. And when you use the generative AI tools, the risk of academic dishonesty is another problem, another challenge. That is why you should be really careful and cautious about how you use the AI tools and how you integrate them into your assignments. And then, of course, this is also called as high-tech plagiarism, because you are involving advanced technology into academic dishonesty case. And we are aware of the fact that technology is constantly and rapidly evolving, and this is also another challenge. So we are all the time in an endless, journey of learning. We need to read and read every day so that we can keep up with the changing world and advancing technology. So while we have challenges, we have opportunities as well. So no challenge exists without any opportunities. So when you use the generative AI tools, especially for non-native speakers of English like us, like many of us here, so you can receive help for spelling and grammar with direct feedback, and you can save time in lengthy tasks. I'm also using it, in an ethical manner in my position at Turnitin. So you can also access task-specific resources quickly. It is much faster than, searching something on Google. And also it will encourage adaptive learning, creative thinking. There are some discussions on that. It will, it might reduce creative thinking if you use generative AI tools. But I believe in this era of artificial intelligence, we will have a different perception of creative thinking, maybe with the generative AI tools. So this is a very lengthy topic. I can talk about it for hours. Creative thinking is a little bit tricky subject. And then practicing prompt engineering. Prompt engineering is also a new phrase that we are using at the moment within the context of AI. So if you don't know how to write a prompt for ChatGPT, it will not give you the answer that you have been expecting. So the prompt that you have written in a generative AI tool is very important. It can give you all the answers that you may need, but you need to write a very good one, a good prompt, so that it can help you. And also, AI is not a topic of academia. So in our work lives, we talk about it every day, in what ways we can use them practically and efficiently, and at the same time by safeguarding ethics. So when you use the generative AI tools, it will be a meaningful learning for future work life. But I would like to finalize the information, my thoughts on this slide. Human review needed always, always. So when you use the generative AI tools, please review all the information provided. When you use, for example, the free version of ChatGPT 3.5, at the very bottom of the screen, it says the information may not be accurate, this kind of wording over there. So human review needed. So we will not be replaced, teachers will not be replaced with the generative AI tools, because human intervention, human touch everywhere is very important, because of our exceptional cognitive skills. All right. Then I will finalize my presentation with the recommendations for you, for the students, if you plan to produce AI-assisted written assignments. So this is also an important phrase for you, AI-assisted. So it will completely depend on the assignment type, the type of the task that you are assigned to. So you should definitely consult with your teachers. But AI assisted is a very important, word, phrase to use in this context. First of all, very important, check your institution's academic integrity policies. So what are they? What is the approach? What is the perspective of the university in terms of the usage of AI tools? You should be aware of the academic integrity policies. Maybe you will be in trouble. Maybe you will have a headache after, submitting an assignment. So take your caution and learn about the institution's academic integrity policies. Then, of course, your instructors are your companions in your learning journey. Consult your instructors about their expectations. What do they expect in this particular assignment? Do they expect me to use generative AI tool in one part, or maybe in the whole assignment? So it will completely depend on, the assignment type. It will require the use of AI tools or not. So this is very important. Keep your communication with your instructors active about everything, but especially the AI writing tools, let's say. And check with them to learn about what is and what is not acceptable. So because your instructors will guide you through also the NIV academic integrity policies in your institution. So they know better than you actually, because they are having, internal discussions before guiding you. So that is why ask them what is acceptable, what is not acceptable. And then make yourself familiar with the generative AI tools. Make a good effort to learn about them. What are the popular ones? What are the most useful ones? In what ways you can use them? So for your field, for your own, department, keep yourself up to date about the developments in those tools, because maybe you will actively use them in your work life when you graduate from university. You never know. So I guess these are recommendations, not for students. I'm including myself. Many people need to keep themselves up to date about those tools. They are our new reality. And inform your instructors in case you have used any of the generative AI tools. Be honest, be transparent. Your instructor would like to see you developing over the years at university. That is why they will really care about your development, your improvement. So that is why if you use any tools, Miss, Mrs., Mr. So I've used this tool for this purpose in this assignment. Do you think it was a good idea or not? So please consult with your instructors about how useful to have it in this assignment, for example. And honesty and transparency. So it is one of the core values. If you have any produce any assisted writing, be honest and transparent. Don't hide it. So it is not something to be ashamed of. Just share it, and accordingly you will receive feedback from your instructor. And I guess this is a sort of larger responsibility for the students at a university level. Be a pioneer, be a good example in safeguarding academic honesty and also embracing authentic learning in your institution. Safeguarding academic honesty for yourself and for the larger community at university. One person makes a huge difference. So, and don't get involved any academic misconduct cases. Don't help anyone who is dishonest and unethical, because you are assisting, this kind of misconduct, which is another problem. So it is your responsibility as an individual to embrace this kind of important values at your institution. You will keep your reputation and at the same time your institution's reputation. So let's come to the conclusions by combining all the perspectives that we have at Turnitin and all the recommendations from my side. I would like to summarize. At Turnitin, we believe in human-centered AI. So AI tool by itself, it will not mean a lot. There must be human touch. So I really like this phrase, by the way. AI tools need to assist, strengthen, and scale human abilities, not replace them. So don't see them as the top, priority in your life. You are the one in your life who will be the priority. So use them to scale yourself, to scale your abilities for present and for the future. AI tools can be very powerful as feedback tools. So I'm also a non-native speaker of English. Even though I was an English teacher for 10 years, I still make mistakes. I can also use them. So as a student, use them as feedback tools. And at Turnitin, we believe that need detection capabilities could help promote academic integrity, even though detection sounds a little bit negative for students. So we have to do it. Otherwise, there will be so many academic misconduct cases. There must be detection, right? So we will also collectively embrace, AI literacy, because it's an important skill in our world at the moment. Evaluate its impact on your learning. So when you use a tool, AI tool, how effective it is, how efficient it is, and how much it contributes to your learning. Please evaluate it. AI tools should be used as tools, not as a source. So they might provide you with some inaccurate information. And also when I use, for example, ChatGPT 3.5, it says my knowledge is limited to the end of 2021. So that is why I will not take it as the primary source and also primary source of knowledge. And of course, this is one of the highlighted sentences in my slide: use AI tools responsibly and ethically. So responsibly and ethically. Please remember these two adverbs when you think about this presentation, or when you rewatch, we are having a live presentation here. If you watch this presentation again, think about my two words, responsibly and ethically. Of course, these are not the, this is not the sentence that I'm using only. A lot of educators agree on that. Yeah, we need to use AI tools responsibly and ethically. And your instructors are a very important part of your educational journey. Communication with them is key. They have lots of experience in the field. They have met so many student groups and they have gone through different periods, you know. So ask them first, get their opinion, and keep the communication with your constructors alive all the time within the context of AI tools. All right, so I've talked a lot, and thanks for your attention. Embrace academic integrity and honesty in the era of artificial intelligence. So this has been my final sentence. Thank you very much. Now I can get the questions.
One question that I had that I thought of is, what could be the applications of Turnitin and similar programs in non-academic environments? For example, I have a sister, my sister uses AI-generated writing to do her professional job work applications and articles and related stuff. Are there any uses and benefits to Turnitin in that situation?
So actually, at work life, it will really depend on your job and position. So for me, for example, I really don't need generative AI tools. Maybe in the future, I will get used to, you know, creating a presentation by using the AI tools, and it will help me a lot and it will save time. So when it comes to using Turnitin in professional life, again, it will really depend on your position. So, for example, if I would like to, you know, submit a project proposal, maybe to an international organization, I should make sure in my text that I'm not plagiarizing intentionally or unintentionally. So there are some institutions, actually, they are non-educational institutions. They are using Turnitin because they have specific work groups. For example, they are creating articles for the academic journals. I have lots of examples in my country, for example. So they have certain groups and they are creating articles. That is why they need to understand if there is any, and if there are any potential issues regarding academic honesty. I hope I've been able to answer your question. Is it clear?
Yeah, and yeah. That answers the question.
All right.
Sadly, we're a bit behind on the schedule, and we'll have to move on. But before moving on, I'd like to mention that in the chat, people are thanking you for the great presentation. They always share their opinions.
Thank you very much.
And then
I appreciate it.
Yeah, for attendees, the Microsoft Teams forum chat room will be available even after the forum ends, so you can share your discussions, discuss with each other any interesting topics that we have been unable to open thoroughly during the discussion panels and sessions, for example, during the Xinhua, and right now after Turnitin. Additionally, the questions are also available to write in the Q&A form. And now we'll have to move on to our next speaker, who is the business consultant and instructor at the Graduate School of Business at the Nazarbayev University, whom some of our students may recognize from the Business 101 course. It's Mr. Tim Won. He looks at AI from an academic point of view and discusses the ethical implications of it. Let's give the stage to Mr. Tim Won.
Thank you very much there, Yaroslav. I'll just try and share my screen.
Oh yeah, just Ms. Yasemin, could you please stop your sharing of the screen? Thank you very much.
I'm just trying to find. Can you guys see that?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, great. So thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to you today. So a lot of the things that I'm going to be talking about are going to resonate with some of the previous speakers. So I'm going to go through some of the things relatively quickly, but really three themes that I would like to cover. The first one is that the AI genie is out of the bottle, and that's a bit of a mixed metaphor, but I'll explain that in just a little while. The second thing is that we want to try and understand what are the implications, not just for students, but also for teachers and academic institutions, because I think this is not just about students. This is also about teachers and also the institutions in which students learn and teachers teach. And then I want to end up by talking about 5 potential principles that may be useful as we navigate this AI era. Okay, so the first thing that I wanted to talk about, and this might be familiar to some of the people here who have done Business 101, but one of the common models that is used in business is this, and it's colloquially known as the Gartner hype cycle, is that there's a general pattern that is often recognized with new technologies when they're introduced. So a technology such as AI is introduced, and then suddenly everyone is starting to talk about it. And what tends to happen is that expectations and the expectations about what the technology can do tend to rise and then inflate. And then at some point, it becomes apparent that those expectations are not going to be realized. And what happens is then that the technology and the view of the technology falls into the trough of disillusionment. And if that technology has any sort of longer term benefit, then it can tend to then start to grow again, but it may also crash and burn if people have moved on somewhere else. So the question, or one question is AI and all the hype, and I think we can use the word hype about AI at the moment, is this just an example of Gartner's hype cycle? My view is no, actually it is not. And what's happening at the moment is much more, I think, reflective of what Lenin said probably over 100 years ago, is that what's happened over the last 52 weeks, if we can say that, a bit more than 52 weeks since the introduction to the public of ChatGPT, what's going to happen and what's going to play out is actually going to play out over the next decade. So what we've been experiencing over the previous, say, 80 weeks or so since late 2022 is going to be playing out over the next decades, in my view. And I really enjoyed Yasmin, the previous speaker's discussion, talking about, is this a revolution or an evolution? My view is that this is going to have revolutionary implications for academic institutions in particular. And that's one of the things that I would like to touch upon today. But before we get there, getting back to this statement about the AI genie is out of the bottle. You may be familiar with Ethan Mollick from MIT. He's I believe, one of the smartest observers about and practitioners of how AI can assist and its impact on education that's running around at the moment. So he's got a really terrific blog called One Useful Thing. If you're interested in this area at all, I would strongly recommend subscribing to his blog. But his basic point is that we can't put AI back into the bottle. It's come out, it can help us, but there's going to be no way that anyone, any government, any body is going to be able to put AI back into the bottle. It's something that we're going to have to live with. It's something we are going to have to adapt to. And so the question is, okay, well, what does this mean for us? And one of the things that humans are really good at is actually coming up with 4-letter acronyms for the sort of environment that we are operating in. So some of these you may be familiar with. So VUCA, which has been around for decades, is saying that we operate in an environment of volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. Some of the more recent acronyms are different but similar. The idea is that we operate in an environment which is difficult to really understand and to forecast. And I think that can be summarized by this quote by Jim Collins, in a different context, but I think that it really reflects where we are right now, is people have lots of opinions, but what's coming next, we don't really know. No one really knows what's coming next. And that leads to the heart, really, of what I want to talk about. And this is, once again, something that we discuss in the Business 101 course. But all of us, every second, are getting enormous amounts of data through our 5 senses. And we don't have the internal bandwidth to actually process all the data that is coming through. And so what happens to us is that we filter out the vast majority of the data that is coming in. And we filter that out based on our past experiences, our beliefs, maybe our strategies that we have. But most of the data that is coming in is filtered out. And as a result, we develop what are called maps, mental maps of what's actually happening out in the world. And so I think that it's really important for us to keep in mind that everything that we are seeing as individuals is a map of what is actually happening out in the real world. It's not actually the real world itself, it's our mental map of what's happening in the real world. And the issue there, as Alfred Korzybski, who came up with this saying, the map is not the territory, is saying, is your map of what's going on in the world is only as useful as it is reflecting the empirical world. If what you're seeing in your mental models is not actually what's happening out in the real world, then that's going to be a problem. Okay. And one of the ways in which AI is going to be able to help us, in my view, and is already starting to help us, is helping us to develop better mental maps. And sure, I'm aware that one of the issues with AI models at the moment is hallucination and coming up with things that are not real, but that is being resolved. And over time, AI is going to become better and better at helping us to develop more accurate maps. And the importance of that is that it's going to help us to be able to make more effective decisions. And this, once again, is one of the important things that I would like to focus on. When you get down to it, at the fundamental level, if you look at where we are as people, you could say that our life represents the sum of our choices, as the French philosopher and writer Albert Camus has said in the past. He won the 1957 Nobel Prize for literature. Okay, so but this is not a new idea. If we go back 2,500 years ago, the Chinese philosopher was saying something very similar, somewhat more poetically, but basically saying that our lives are really built around the decisions that we are making. And this is not just something that we as individuals should be recognizing. It's also the same with organizations. So we talk about in business studies that an organization, particularly startups, represents the sum of decisions that are made within that business. There's a whole area of research now starting to develop around organizations as decision factories, not just building and producing things, but actually making decisions. So this is an idea of making decisions, which I think is really fundamental to all of us. And the point that I would like to make in relation to students, teachers, and academic institutions is that effective decisions, if you want to be making effective decisions, they also tend to be ethical decisions. It was interesting that some of the previous speakers, particularly Shigeo Katsu at the start, talked a lot about trust. And it's important, I think, to understand from an evolutionary perspective that we are wired as a species